Hello everyone, this is Anna from Savvy Cat Realty. I hope that you had a lovely Christmas with your family and a great time wherever in the world you are. I told you a bit about our Christmas traditions in the last video, and I hope I heard some of yours back. And today I'm going to talk about the New Year traditions here in Portugal. We also have a bunch of them. And I'm very curious to see if they are the same way wherever in the world you are. And for those of you who don't know, Savvy Cat Realty is a relocation agency for those who want to move to Portugal. We work in the whole country with both rentals and purchase and help you in the whole relocation process from visa to actually being settled in the country, including constructions and renovations. So we help you from one way to the other until you are all the way here and well settled in our lovely country. So back to today's topic, which is the New Year here in Portugal. And we have a few New Year traditions here. One of the very odd ones, and I don't know if this is something that you have in other countries, and I would love to hear about it because I have no idea where the hell this came from, which is colored underwear. And I think different families have different colors. For example, in my family, my mother always insisted that I would wear red underwear on the New Year to bring good luck. And I've heard some locations where it's blue. I heard some people saying it's black. So I'm very curious to see which ones, if you have this kind of tradition in your household, and which color it is. So in my household, it's red. It's also said to be good luck to wear new clothes in general. So people always try to have new clothes for the New Year's Eve. And the most typical tradition, and this is something I think happens all over the world, but maybe I'm wrong and I would love to hear about it. It is to eat 12 raisins as the 12 clock, we call it badaladas, so basically the clock sound. There's a word for it in English, isn't it? But I can't remember it. So every one of the 12 clock sounds, we eat a raisin and ask for a wish. So that's a typical tradition here in Portugal. Of course, that's also where it usually starts to have the fireworks. The bigger cities have huge parties, and then you also have some locations that are particularly well known for their New Year parties. For example, Madeira is one of those very renowned locations for New Year parties, and it usually gets booked from one year to the other. So if you want to spend your New Year in Madeira, you should probably start booking for 2024 to 2025 right now, because it usually sells out really fast, and it's known to have a really, really fancy fireworks. I am spending it in Porto this year. I also did last year, I think. I don't remember anymore. But I'm spending it in Porto this year, so I'll be seeing the fireworks in the bridge, probably. Yeah, I spent it last year in Porto, but I actually didn't make it to the bridge. I was kind of in the midway when the fireworks started, so that was fun. But either way, eating the raisins is a typical one. Then another thing is to start the new year with your right foot. So the first step that you take when you are just hearing the 12 clock, that is to take a step with your right foot. Some people take it a step further and do it on a bench, like climbing in a bench or a step with your right foot, so you are go the next level next year. And then you also have the whole money thing, to have money in your hands, or some people even put in their feet. So inside their shoes, some people put a bill, And this one is actually a new one that I read recently that I didn't know about. I knew about having money in your hands and so on, but I didn't know some people put their money in their feet. And apparently it comes from the feng shui and how energy comes from your feet. So apparently that's the origin of that. Maybe I'll try it. I don't know. Putting a bill in your feet doesn't sound that interesting though. But have you done it? I haven't, so tell me about it. Then, what other New Year's tradition? Of course, you have the champagne. I think this is mostly a commercial one. Champagne starting being popular, and it kind of became a celebration drink in general. But it's said to bring prosperity. And here in Portugal, we have a very renowned wine country. It's not very renowned for champagne. It's mostly the port wine and so on. But you'll always have champagne on our New Year's celebrations. I think another thing that mostly everyone does is to have their first kiss with their loved ones right after midnight. And usually we also do the whole Portuguese 2 kisses thing with everyone. We are spending it to wish them a new year. So that's usually how it goes when the midnight strikes. And a lot of people are all about making noise. So it's typical in some locations for people to come out of their houses with pans and spoons and kind of hitting with the spoons on the pans and making a whole bunch of noise to welcome the new year with we call it a strondo, so it's basically a big clap, I guess. So that's another thing that happens here in Portugal. If you see people coming outside their windows with pans and spoons, hitting it, you know why it is. It's one of our odd traditions here in Portugal of having a lot of noise in the new year. So these are mostly the traditions that I can think about right now. I would love to hear the specific traditions that you have in our country. Personally, for me and for most of my family, it tends to be a more friend celebration. I usually spend Christmas with family and then I spend the New Year with friends, and usually we always spend Christmas at home with home-baked goods, and the New Year we often go out. So I guess that's a thing in most of my family. Most people, they have the celebration somewhere. Sometimes we even like book hotels and that kind of thing. But the Christmas, it's very much spent at home. And I think this is very much a general thing because things are usually very heavily booked during the New Year. And you have, well, it depends on location. Some locations start booking all the way from 1 year to the other. The most popular locations, you probably should start booking about 2 months to 3 months ahead. And like those that have very specific New Year celebrations, it can be all the way from 1 year to another. And most of them, you get away with it if you just book in early December for the end of the year. For example, I just booked last week for my celebration, and if it's big groups, of course, it can be a bit more problematic, but overall, you will see a lot of people on the streets and a lot of people eating out, and most restaurants and hotels have specific programs for the New Year celebrations. Once again, I think this is something pretty normal in most countries, but I'd love to hear if I'm wrong, if it's celebrated differently in other locations, and I'd love to hear about it because I only experienced it here in Portugal. So I think this is about it for my New Year Portuguese traditions. I hope this was fun, and I hope that you all have an amazing New Year passage and a great entry into 2024. And I will be seeing you all on the 2nd of 2024, because for those of you who don't know, my company is on vacation right now, so this video has been scheduled, and we are only back on the 2nd of January. And by then we will get back to all of you. So if you haven't heard from us during this week, It is because of that. We have been on vacation between the Christmas and New Year, and we'll be back on the 2nd of January. And we are also currently having an ongoing campaign for rentals. If you get our rental package in our website until the 31st of December, you will get a 3-month extension on the deadline of that package. So you basically have 3 extra months to use the package up. This is the first time we are making this offer, and it's only valid until the 31st. And we will be launching a similar campaign on the early January for the buying packages. So stay tuned. And if you want to be the first one to hear about these things, please sign up to our newsletter in www.savvycatrealty.com. We share a lot of information about living in Portugal, our culture, and also technical information about residency and property and renovations and constructions and so on. So please do like and subscribe if this kind of content is useful for you. And I hope that it is. And we launch new videos every week. So I hope to see you all again next week and next year in this case. Bye!